Thank you all for being here today for our webinar here. All right. Well, we're going to be going over the growth plan in terms of optimizing your social media accounts and the different tactics and things that should be applied to ensure that, one, you're building a following, you're getting engagement, then also figuring out how then to get that engagement to convert into sales and people coming in to your shops. So hopefully you all are excited for this. I'm excited to be able to share some of the things that we've learned along the way, and hopefully that you can be able to apply to your different shops. All right, so things we're going to cover today, what you'll learn. So we'll go over 7 key social media marketing strategies, best platforms in terms of social media platforms that we've seen for auto shops. So that way, again, you can make the most of the time that you spend on any given medium. And then how to turn those followers into sales. And then one secret social media hack that we've seen work very, very well for different shops. And so what your shop needs to be social. So, and why it's important to even be on social media. So over 4.2 billion active social media users worldwide. And so I don't know about you, but constantly there's a lot of different ways that I'm on social media, not only to engage with some of you, but also just to engage and stay in tune with what's happening in the world. And so with that, obviously there's a lot of people on there, a lot of access. So Facebook has 2.8 billion monthly active users. Instagram has over 1 billion. YouTube has over 2 billion logged in. So that, again, that number is very, very large and people are there. So we need to figure out how you can be there for your shop. So over 50% of consumers expect brands to respond to their queries or complaints on social media. So when they message you, they're expecting a response there. And so the main purpose of social media, it leverages top of mind awareness. And so what does that mean? It's about that brand awareness and consistency. That we're gonna talk about that quite a bit in terms of being consistent on your social media, so that way you stay top of mind. At times, it's hard to calculate true ROI that's coming from your social media, because when they come in, they end up saying, "Oh, we found you through Google," or "We found you through the mailer that we got," and that's what you end up putting down as how they found you. But what could have started easily could have been how your name popped up consistently on social media. Different things that you're talking about really resonated with them. It led them to one day typing it in Google and then finding you and then calling you. So it's really important to stay very active and consistent there. So the 7 key strategies that we're going to go over. So first, we're going to be identifying your target audience, and then we're going to choose the right platforms to then target those people. Creating a content calendar, how that makes it a lot easier in order to be consistent in terms of posting. Using high quality visuals. That's something that's kind of often pushed aside, but people scroll so quickly, their attention span is so little, that it needs to be something very high quality that attracts their attention. And engage with your followers. Don't just post and then not comment back and comment on other places. You need to be engaging. And then you also need to leverage paid advertising. And then there's definitely ways that we'll talk about in terms of that spend can be very, very minimal, but being consistent, again, is just going to be really big there. And then monitor and analyze the results. Don't just spend to spend. Don't just do things to randomly do things. Make sure you're looking and analyzing the different insights that Facebook and Instagram and these other social media outlets are able to provide for you. So number 1, identifying your target audience. So in the comment section here, I would love to hear how many of you know who your target audience is. So put yes or no in the comments if you feel that you know exactly who your target audience is. David, yes, that's awesome. That's great to hear. Okay, we got a few yeses. We got some that have no idea. All right, no worries. We'll hopefully be able to help you out there. So with your target audience and what that sort of means. So for example, you target younger drivers who are more likely to drive electric vehicles. You're someone that's shifting a lot to EV and really focusing on that driver. Or you, on the flip side, you focus on older drivers that are very routine and they're from a certain neighborhood and they do certain things, or they drive certain vehicles if you're a Euro shop. Like, understanding who those people are is very, very crucial in terms of making the most of social media and how you want to target those individuals. So if you do not already know who your ideal audience is, highly recommend spending some time really evaluating, looking at your shop management system, seeing who those people are, who's consistently coming. Well, who are the biggest people that spend the most money? Where are they coming from? How old are they? Things like that. So that way you can consistently know, like even the split between male and female, because the language that you use for each person is going to be different. And so you want to make sure that you are attracting the exact person that you believe is who you want coming in consistently to your shop. But in order to do that, you have to write it down. You have to know and understand who that person really is, because who you believe it is in your mind, if you've never done this exercise before, could be completely off once you actually look at the numbers of who you're actually attracting. And so not all social media platforms are created equal. So choosing the right platforms is now very crucial once you know your target audience. Certain target audiences are going to be on certain social media. So if your demographic tends to be a little bit older, Facebook is going to be a place that is going to be very consistent for you to be able to do. And David, yes, I'm going to talk about LinkedIn here. I know it's not on here, but I'll absolutely talk about it here. But Facebook is going to be a consistent place where some of the older demographic is. As you're going younger and younger, that's where we're going to start applying to Instagram. YouTube is a good demographic that kind of works both ways. TikTok, definitely a younger generation thing. So that's something to just keep an eye on in terms of its popularity and consistency there. Because as that younger generation gets older and starts being the ones that are the customers, you want to make sure that you're staying relevant on those exercises. So yeah, some other ones that we don't want to waste your time on is going to be Twitter. It's more of a medium where you're just giving maybe giving an update on a status update on if your shop is closed randomly on a day or whatever it may be. That's where you do it, but it's not going to be a big place where you're going to get a lot of engagement, at least in our industry, what we've seen. LinkedIn is going to be big if you're doing leads. So in terms of a business to business transaction, getting a good consistent like everyday customer base through LinkedIn is going to be a lot more difficult because that's the people on LinkedIn aren't really there for that. They're not there to see what auto repair shop they should be going for. It's going to be big on finding that fleet account. That's where we see in the consistent best ROI there. And if you're an individual that is not even finding fleets important, then obviously LinkedIn is not going to be the best use of your time. Nextdoor, another place that's more up and coming that people are getting more used to. It doesn't hurt to have a profile on there and keep an eye on it. But again, if you're going to be doing this yourself, you want to make sure you're maximizing the time that you're spending. And so the biggest time spenders are going to be kind of some of these other places. Reddit, again, we haven't seen that strong ROI. Maybe there's a lot of like do-it-yourself forums and things that are on there, which, I mean, most of the time do-it-yourselfers are not going to be the customer base that you really want to attract as your target audience anyways. So it might not be the best bang for your buck, but every area is different. And so just because I'm saying one thing does not mean it's absolutely not going to work for your area. We're just seeing in the masses, as we've handled these things, what we've seen work the best and most consistent there. But again, great comments, great questions that you guys are already producing. So thank you. I want this to be engaging as possible here. You guys are taking time out of your day to spend with me and learn a little about this. I really appreciate you all doing that. David says I use LinkedIn to build a relationship with professionals. Also do a lot of small business networking groups with those individuals. I use LinkedIn to keep it relevant. Absolutely, yeah. So small business networking groups are going to be huge to just stay consistent. And I think at the end of the day, it's about being consistent on where that medium is for you. If you're finding good access there in LinkedIn, that's amazing. But what we've seen work best in LinkedIn in the past has just been mainly like fleet related accounts, because that's where that fleet manager is, and that's where you can most resonate probably with them. All right, so number 3, creating a content calendar. So a lot of times people they get to the point where they know the target audience, they know where they want to post, and then they post a couple of times and then they give up because they're like, this is too hard to think of what ways to post something new and be organized and when to post. Like that it all just becomes very complex and overwhelming. But thankfully there are a lot of amazing tools that can both help you post every day consistently and allow you to upload the whole calendar for the month. but it's really big to plan out a calendar ahead of time. So one thing that we do is we theme out certain days of the week to make it easier for our team to produce fresh new content. But with a theme, at least you're not starting completely from scratch each and every time. You have an idea of what will be posted on a given day. So here I have you have a tip Tuesdays, and so you always post an auto repair tip on that day. Or if you happen to post on weekends, maybe you fix weekends will just be only if you have a special or something like that. But knowing again what color scheme you use, you don't want a content piece, because if you're not planning it out ahead, things might be really choppy and not have that connection and brand awareness there. Because again, like I mentioned, people are scrolling through social very, very quickly on their phones. They see a post maybe for a second and a half. And so with that, you want that consistency to pop in mind in terms of what your picture looks like. It's always your brand colors, your brand's always in there. It always looks like you day in and day out. So, and then, yeah, so some tools that I mentioned with the names are Buffer, Hootsuite, Socialbee. I mean, there's tons of different social media tools that you can leverage and use nowadays to post in mass. So take a look and see which one might work the best for you. And so what to post and why. So now it's also important to understand what you should be posting. We generally try to follow the 80-20 rule for any marketing messages in general, but especially for your content pieces. Put out 80% information, things of value there, free value, and then 20% marketing. Do not make every post about, hey, coming in like a sale that you have going on, or why you they need to come in for a break special now, like constantly doing kind of sales promos. That's not going to go over well. People will stop following you really, really quickly. So you want to provide valuable information most of the time, and then throw in those posts maybe once a week in terms of a more salesy marketing related piece. And so how shall this work online? An example of a creation strategy. So you write effective copy, you choose photos and create your designs. You then upload the content when the calendar is ready. Then from there, once you have everything scheduled, you don't need to worry about posting it each and every day. So now you can spend that time connecting with the followers and doing that consistently. And then you also want to make sure you're highlighting testimonials, because people love hearing about what other people have to say. And so you want to make sure you're highlighting that. We'll talk about how you can leverage that into video here in a second too. So yeah, this is kind of the basic journey that you'll want to consistently take for creating your content. And so number 4, like I mentioned, we want to use high quality visuals. So one sort of hack, one sort of cheat that you can do is 1 becoming 5. So one video can easily turn into a reel, a TikTok, a YouTube video, that then you can even take out the words that you say and put it into a blog post, turn it into a podcast, and even more. So really 1 can become way more than 5, but just as the example of simply making a video, you can chop it up and turn it into multiple different things. So does that make sense for everyone in terms of how you can really leverage video? One person said they did a TikTok on batteries, hit 34K views. And so yes, maybe TikTok will not bring them all those clients, but having that many views in front of mind in terms of having your business in there consistently is really powerful. And that same TikTok video, I'm sure you can throw as a reel on Instagram, throw as a reel on Facebook. You can turn it as a short form video on YouTube. All those things get lots of different views. And so you can, again, regurgitate that piece of content in a bunch of different ways and get as much exposure as possible. But you only made that video one time. So making the kind of the best bang for your buck there. So number 5, we want to engage with your followers. So you want to build relationships. At the end of the day, that's what you as an auto repair shop owner are consistently doing when they come in and your team is focused on. So you need to do the same thing with social media. So social media was built to be social. And so if you engage regularly and correctly, you're going to grow a nice following of real customers in your area. So that, and when you see people comment and like and do things, you want to make sure that you're commenting and thanking them and engaging with them, really responding. And even if it's only one person and having that back and forth, other people read it. There's tons of people that are just passersby that are reading what's going on. And if they see that you're being very engaging, very helpful with people that are commenting, regardless if it's on one of your posts, or maybe you're in a different like local neighborhood group, posting things in there, helping people out, it goes a long way. Because at the end of the day, most people don't want to do it themselves. They're going to want to go to someone they trust, and by engaging with them, you're the one staying top of mind. You're the one that's building trust without even them knowing you in person. So make sure that you're engaging with them, because you're going through all this effort of posting. You don't want to then just ignore that portion. And then utilize paid advertising. So another method that to stay consistent and top of mind is using paid advertising. So now I know people always have a question, well, how much should I spend on social media? I'm already spending on mailers, I'm already spending on Google ads. And so we have a little cheat in terms of $1 a day method that, I mean, anyone can leverage and do this. You pick one post, ideally a video works better, but you pick a post that you feel like resonates best with your target audience, and you boost that post $1 a day. So again, 30 days, $30, and you boost it for a month. So by doing this, you have now a sponsored ad. I don't know how many of you consistently are on Facebook or Instagram or any of these social mediums, but every like 4 or 5 posts, you'll see a sponsored ad consistently. So now you want to be that person that has an opportunity, create it in the tight radius of where your target audience is. Do not just make it over the whole state or anything like that, because again, it doesn't make sense to build that, or someone more than likely will not drive hours and hours to get to your shop. If there's 100 shops they're passing by, it guess slowly but surely as you gain that exposure, you can gain some of those one-offs, but we want to get their best bang for your buck here. So boost it $1 a day in a tight radius around your shop, and just let it do its thing, and then start changing out what posts that should be. Again, like I mentioned, the best posts are video. Even more than that, the best posts are video testimonials from your customers. Create a quick short form video asking them why they love coming to your store, or something they love about you. Maybe last 30 seconds, turn that post and boost it out $1 a day. You get enough of these people to start leaving these reviews. People in the neighborhood are going to start to feel everyone's coming to your store, and they get kind of that fear of missing out, and they'll show up and just see like kind of what you're about. And that's kind of the whole purpose of what you want to do there. So leveraging paid advertising, yes, it can cost some extra if you want to do even more than that. Obviously, if you spend a little bit more money per day, you get even more exposure, but start simple, just do $1 a day and let it ride. So, and lastly, number 7, monitor and analyze those results. So it's so important to understand, okay, what's working? Our posts early in the morning or later at night getting more engagement? Our followers liking what you're even posting? You can see how many people are viewing your posts. And so making sure that you're looking at those insights, and you don't want to just spend money to spend money. So make sure you're understanding what kind of viewership you're getting, and if it's what you're expecting and what you're hoping for. Maybe even ask people as they come in, it's like, have you been seeing our social media posts online? What do you think we can do better? Just get their insights and ask them how they can help you. And more than likely they'll have good ideas, because they're going to be related to the customers that you're wanting to see. So leverage them, then analyze the results, keep modifying and improving from there. So those are the 7 different strategies that we went over just now. Any questions there before we dive in a little bit deeper in terms of not turning your audience into actual sales? Again, happy to answer any questions that any of you may have. So someone asked how you check your insights on Instagram. So you can either do it within Business Meta, like it used to be business.facebook, but now it's Meta, and checking in the insights there, because Facebook and Instagram are tied. Make sure you tie them together as well. It saves you time in terms of making one post, like then it'll reconfigure and go to both places, right, in terms of the dimensions that need to happen there. And then from there, you can easily see the insights that go both on Facebook, on Instagram. It's all right there. But if you individually go onto Instagram on your given post, there should be a view insights button that then is populated there. Then you can see how a given result is performing. When it's an ad, it's very prevalent in terms of that insight button, because they're going to Facebook is going to show you how good it's doing, and so then that way you'll spend more money on doing that. But at least they're good about giving that insights and number. So great question there. Another question: should Instagram and Facebook be linked? Oh yeah, absolutely. You want to link the two of them. You're told for business pages they should not be linked, and personal pages are linked. No, so You definitely want the business page between the Facebook and Instagram to be linked in terms of like ease of use and consistently posting on each one. I mean, if you want them to be separate and post two different things on two different places, I mean, that can absolutely be your prerogative. But what we've seen, again, we want to make sure you get the best time value, especially if you're trying to do this yourself. Link the two of them, then it just kind of it builds that internal trust as well within Facebook system that yes, you're using the platform in both places and posting consistently. So, but great question there. All right, so we'll keep going. Again, feel free. I'm going to do my best to keep checking and seeing questions as they come through. So do not be afraid and hesitate to ask any questions at any time for me. And so now a common question that we get is, how do I build up my initial following? It's going to be one of the hardest things. It's not easy. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's definitely not easy to be able to build up a following when you create a new page, but we're going to go through some of the suggestions of how to go about and do that. So creating a bigger online presence. So we're kind of split it into 5 different places. So participate outside of your page. You not only want to comment and do things that you are posting personally. Join different groups. Just be involved outside of your page, where a lot of again, this is where it's important to understand your target audience and know where they are, what kind of groups they're in, what kind of pages they like, and stay engaged within those places. Quality posts. Don't just again regurgitate the same thing over and over. You want to make things of quality and of use to them. Always try to link it back again to the website and to other different social platforms to make sure everything is intertwined and interconnected. Builds more power and trust. Reward loyal supporters. So people that are consistently on there, do little things to thank them, because again, by having that consistency of other people commenting and things goes a long way. Leverage your existing customers and networks, making sure again that maybe you do a partnership with another business online, and that the business owner you're friends with, just to both build up your online presences, do that, share things, kind of work as many kind of joint venture opportunities as you can there. And then dollar a day method, as we talked about. When it comes to paid advertising, you can do that as well to just gain more exposure. You can even do the boost in a way that promotes liking of the page. Typically recommend against that way, but there you can spend money to go ahead and do that as well. So yeah, those are kind of the big 5 ways of being consistent there. So any questions so far? I think we just stopped. We had a good amount of questions, so I want to make sure there's no questions there in terms of creating a bigger online presence. So it's not easy by any means. There's like a magic button that you do and then boom, you get a bunch of followers. If there probably would be a bunch of fake people anyways, and not your target audience. You want real people that are actually your customers that are getting involved and being engaged with you. Okay. All right, and so now how to turn your followers into sales. Let's go over some tactics that we've seen that work really well. Right. So offer ultimate communication with your audience. And so you want to make sure that you consistently offer the ability to message you on your social media platforms and things that way you stay consistent and front of mind. So those tend to be the posts that appear more often, and thus, because you're building that trust within kind of Facebook's social network, you'll be consistently appearing more often, getting more discovery, things like that. So you want to offer that ultimate communication. If you're able to link your social media to a CRM that you're using, so for example, our CRM, we can link everyone's social media accounts. So that way, if a message comes from Google or Facebook or Instagram or a text message, it's all in the same place. So that way you don't need to jump to a bunch of different places to make sure you're responding to people on time. You want it to be kind of in one place, so that way you're consistently able to reach out to those people. And advertise your business page with ads. So as we already talked about, you can create certain ads that then really push just liking the page, creating that follower, that following in there. And then provide useful information, not just product information. And so it's all about value at the end of the day. If people see that you're valuable, they'll come to you. So you want to make sure that you're consistently providing that useful information. If you have videos of yourself, of your team actually doing the job as well, that works very well. So now they get to see hands-on how your team performs. They can see kind of how the shop looks like, things like that, to ensure that you're a place that they want to come to. Can you measure click-throughs from Facebook and Instagram to your website? Yes. So there's different codes that then you can apply from from your Facebook posting that then you put onto the back end of your website. When you create a business account with Facebook, it has these different tags that you're able to then put onto your website. So that way you can track the click-throughs. And also within the insights of Meta, you'll be able to then see that as well. It'll show like the click-through percentage. So typically, if you're wanting to funnel into a website, say you have a schedule an appointment or a really good call to action on a call button, something like that on a website, a specific page, that's where you'd want to funnel it to. Ideally, you build a landing page that's just for what it is that you're doing, so then you can truly easily track and have a unique tracking number. So then there's nothing that can fit, because every once in a while, the click-through rates that come through aren't as accurate. They kind of have some misleading numbers, or sometimes they miss some that come through. And so having an actual tracking number that then is strictly only from Facebook, you then know that, okay, this many calls and this is how well it's working, and these are the people that are calling. So, but great question. Thank you for putting that in there, Dave. And so a big thing, don't hide any information. So when you create your page, there's a bunch of different things that you're able to list on there. You're able to put your address, you're able to put your phone number, you're able to put website links. Do not fill that out. You want to make sure you're providing as much information as possible, being as transparent as possible. And those links that you put in there are really good for building trust just within online. It just now knows that you're a legit business. You're having these things built. So it says I have a tracking number I use for social media. Is that okay to have listed on my Facebook business page instead of the real number? Yes. That back in the day, tracking numbers weren't as prevalent, and so there was a big thing within citations that the name, address, and phone number always has to be consistent, and that still is a thing. It does need to have consistency, but it understand, like a lot of these places understand now, like yes, there is a tracking number that is there. You're able to put, like for example, on your Google Business profile, you're able to put primary number or secondary numbers. What we always say is put the tracking number as the primary number, the secondary number as your direct line. So that way, as there's things with your direct line, they're all internally linking. So you can do the same thing, put a secondary number as your social media number. And so that way things can, again, consistently intertwine and link. And so you're getting the proper credit, but within online. But very, very good question, because I do hear that pretty often. In terms of tracking numbers, people get scared of like, oh no, there's no way I should put a tracking number there. That's going to hurt me. No, it's very valuable to be able to understand like what calls are coming in, and now these different businesses understand that people are needing to do that, and so they have ways to make sure that then you're not just losing credit, losing power for doing so. Add video reviews, like we already talked about a little bit. That's a humongous way that you can build clout with your company. Like I mentioned, the more video reviews you get, the more people it seems like out there, especially if they see 1, 2, 3 friends that pop up as video testimonials. Are like, well, why am I not going to that shop? I need to go to that shop. Or they ask about that shop from that person, and they're just feeling like they're missing out by not going there because everyone's so happy. So make sure that you're consistently putting those out, and those tend to be really good ones to then boost and put out there within the community, because there's no way that these people are not unrecognizable from other their friends and things within the area. So you want to be really good about staying consistent, building authentic reviews that way. Promote on other sites. And so a big thing people forget to do sometimes is put your social media icons on your website, on maybe blog posts that you do, just to make sure everything is connected. So you're constantly pushing and building that following. The more followers that you're building that are actual customers, the more useful that you're going to be getting in terms of building that long-term value of the customer staying with you and continuing to spend money building that overall sales by getting more visitors. Kind of that funnel, you want that funnel to be as wide as possible. So obviously not every visitor is going to turn into a sale, but the odds are the wider your funnel, naturally allows the bottom to be beefier, more customers, more sales there. All right, so the last 3, maintain uniqueness. So Facebook has 2.45 billion users. So it's not possible for all business pages to attract all users one at a time. So you need to do things to stand out, be a little different. Don't do all the same posts that everyone else is doing. Obviously, there's some articles and things that are good. And throwing in some unique things about the shop will be really good in terms of creating that brand recognition, staying consistent with your brand, what you want it to be. Again, consistently put out those same colors, same eye-catching things that they know, oh yes, this is so-and-so shop, 100%, without even looking at what's being written there. Because most of the time people don't even read what's written there in the caption anyways. What's in the caption and the hashtag is mainly for discovery purposes of who gets to see it. So really it's all about that visual that they're getting. Create competitions or giveaways. So another idea to get sales from social media is to arrange some attractive competitions or giveaways. So we've seen people even give away trips and things that are there. Not that you have to do something that big, but by creating this friendly competition and giveaway within online, it builds a lot of different followers and eyes on your shop. So make sure to do things that are unique. Maybe it's the Super Bowl, and you do something in regards to the Super Bowl, people guessing what the score is and whatnot, and the winner gets so and so, but they have to submit it in person at the shop. More than likely, if they're coming to the shop, they're gonna take care of something too. So do things that are kind of just forcing traffic to where you want them to be, and just feeling that friendliness within the local community and neighborhood there. And then lastly, add a call now, book now on your page. So it's very, very important to have a call to action. You don't want to go through all this effort and then them not know how to contact you and not know what the best way is to come to the shop. So you want to make sure you're making it very accessible consistently on posts, what number to call, what button they can click to just go to a website to schedule an appointment if you're big on online booking. So doing those things are going to be very crucial, and just this new wave of ease of use for the not only the younger generation, but every generation now. Everyone's just on their phone. We want to make it very simple for them to be able to come in. So those are 9 tips that we had there. Any questions on any of those tips that you want me to dive in a little bit deeper on? So I know I've been doing a lot of talking, so hopefully it's been helpful for everyone in terms of what we've gone over here so far. Suggestions for contests. Yep. So again, you want to make it simple for people to be able to apply. In a sense, you don't want them to go through a bunch of big hoops to be able to apply for a contest. So they can usually, like, guessing games tend to be really good. So just having maybe a jar of a bunch of random items in there. They come in, they have to write a guess. So maybe you say, hey, you can guess once the service is completed, or something along those lines. But then obviously the prize will then have to be enticing if you're requiring them to come in for a service. If they're not required to come to a service, you can make the prize pretty minimal, but at least then you're getting kind of those heads and seats. Other things online in order to now build following. I'm sure some of you have seen things like this before, where if you have them tag a friend within the comments, they get kind of an extra ticket in a sense of an application, or they have to like the page. They kind of have to follow certain rules in order to apply to be a winner. So those are different things. What's a good dollar amount for a less expensive gift for content? I mean, you could do something that's no more than $50 in terms of a gift. Whether maybe it's just a gift card to a popular restaurant in the area, and then with that you do, maybe the owner of the restaurant or something like that, so then you kind of do a dual thing where they're posting about it as well, building exposure for their brand along with yours, like kind of building again those joint ventures within contests work really well, because now you're not the only one doing the legwork of getting the exposure. You're having another business do it for you, and they have a following as well. So great question. Thank you. All right, we'll keep going as I see things come through. Again, I'll do my best to answer. So social media hack. So this is one thing that, again, will take will take extra time. Absolutely. But if you're able to build that trust, it will go a really long way within your company. So starting a Facebook group. So starting something like auto repair shop tips for Austin, Texas, if you're there, for example. And then you would be the one, obviously you're the owner of the group, you're making regular tips and things in there, but that way your brand is staying consistent. Or it doesn't even have to be an auto repair shop group. It can just be a group. Maybe you have majority of males or majority of females that are your target audience. You build a group catered to that person and what they like and do. And so then you're building that brand awareness in terms of, I've seen like people host a 3-on-3 basketball tournament, and then that like, because they have like a dad group that they've created, and so local dads come in and then they sign up for this tournament. It's free and sponsored by your shop, and so that way you get exposure there, and slowly that's what's built. And so you can do things that you can do, maybe a woman's night at the shop where you teach them something that they can do, or something like that, where then that's catered to, you're building a female related group in the local neighborhood, and what that may be. So those are, again, different ideas that you can do, but by building that group, you become the owner and you can control all the communication that's happening there. And then it feels a little bit more genuine, other than just the regular postings that you do and the commentary that you do there. So it will absolutely take more time, but it can go a long way in terms of building your overall brand. So hopefully that hack is helpful for any of you who've never done a group before. It's really simple to create a group. So you can just click on the groups tab in Facebook, create group, and go ahead from there. So successful companies are consistent. That's the biggest thing. Again, at the end of the day, I know I've preached this quite a bit, but that's what really separates the people that are very good about branding and social media versus the ones that are not. Some people are maybe good for a few months, or maybe they're good for a couple of years, and then they just fall off. And it doesn't matter how many likes and follows they have if you're not even leveraging those people that you built and worked hard to get. So nailing down a schedule, that's the easiest way. Plan out the next month, schedule those posts, have it done, and then taken care of. Answering questions immediately. So when people ask, make sure that you are as fast as possible responding to those people with what the answer should be, because everyone can see that. And then interact. That you go into this effort of building a following on social media. Be social, be out there, be consistent. Okay. And then adapt to different platforms. Social media is consistently evolving. What tool do you recommend for a content calendar? So one thing, we use Hootsuite in terms of posting and doing it on there, because it connects to a bunch of different social medias, and then it puts it out at one time. How many posts a week do you think there should be daily? But in terms of the tools, sorry to stop there again. I have to try reading a different question. But yeah, we can. If you go back to an earlier slide, or if you want to rewatch this webinar, there will be a replay with some of those tools there. But again, if you type in like social media content calendar tool on Google, guarantee that all the ones that we listed here and some others will be there. And it's all about feel, what you like, and ease of use there. So make sure to just check those out. But even without spending money on a platform, when your Facebook and Instagram, for example, are connected online and in Meta, it's very, very simple to be able to schedule posts and make it happen for the month. You can put the day and the time. That time can be based on when you see people who are the most engaging on a given day, and you can schedule that all out and just consistently do that each and every month. Maybe one day you spend an hour doing it, or whatever it may be, but to schedule out for the next month. But good question there. How many posts a week do you think there should be? Like, should it be daily? It does not need to be daily. If you have the time to do daily, great. What we do typically for our customers is 4 days a week, and kind of theming out each day of the week there. But if you want to do 3 days a week, I think that's plenty fine. But just finding a cadence that works for you and being consistent. And 1 day a week may still be, kind of just gauge it based on your audience, because when you take too much time off in between, you just kind of see your insights, they'll drop off in terms of the amount of people that are seeing it and being engaging, because again, Facebook wants you to use their product. And so the more often that you use it, the more likely it is. But also, if you're doing it every single day of the week, that's really hard to come up with brand new posts every single day consistently. So to make it a little bit easier, go with that, maybe a 3 to 4 window. That's a recommendation. Okay. But then also staying up in front of different platforms is very crucial, because they're constantly changing, and just one platform on its own is constantly going to change, and they do different things. They put things different places. So just make sure you're staying on top of it and knowing where they are. Don't give up just because it's getting frustrating. You can ask me. You reach out, ask me where something is. I'll gladly help you on where that item is. And you're like, I used to do this and used to be here. It's not here anymore. What do I do? I'll help you. Or you reach out to our team and they'll be happy to help you. Or I'm sure you can Google it and that can help you as well. So just make sure you always know how other profiles are created, gauge the audience tastes and preferences. Different social media platforms are going to be different in terms of what they like and want to see. So make sure you're filling that out, and then build a profile app for that specific platform. Okay. All right. So that kind of covers what we have to talk about today. Obviously, I have a few little final things that talks a little bit about us. But any questions here in terms of anything we went over in terms of social media, building an audience, a following, staying engaging, turning those into sales. You guys have had great questions today. Again, I thank you very much for participating, asking questions, not being afraid to ask questions. So I really appreciate that. Yeah. As a final wrap up things then, so we do have a book, and in this book we have one whole chapter dedicated to social media in it. And so feel free to find it on Amazon, give it a look, see, hopefully it's beneficial to you. There's been a fair amount of people, thankfully, that have found it useful. There's other things that we talk about in there in terms of just your overall online internet marketing presence, different things that you should have locked in and be in line with there. And then our digital dominance method, this is what we focus on in terms of the different aspects of your online marketing, that if they're locked in, new customers are coming in and they're coming back. So you want to make sure that these different aspects of your online presence, you yourself, or you have someone else doing it and taking care of it, to make sure that you're getting the best bang for your buck online and growing to and hitting the goals that you want to hit. If you're interested in meeting and then learning more about what we do, you can feel free to contact us in these various different ways. You can call this number, so go directly to me, 877-733-3446, or you can email info@liftautorepairmarketing.com. Sorry, I know it's a mouthful for the domain name, but liftautorepairmarketing.com is what it is. And the website, you can check us out. You can book and schedule a meeting directly with myself as well. We'll have a strategy session, or we can go over your online presence, how things are looking, how potentially things you can tweak to improve and get better. And then if it makes sense to have us do it for you, we'll be happy to do it for you as well. So that is everything for today. Best marketing doesn't feel like marketing. So that's the whole point of kind of what we're trying to do. So I thank you all for joining. If you do have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in those different ways, or you can message me on Facebook. I'm consistently there because a lot of you owners are there. But again, thank you all for spending this time out of your day with me. Hopefully this was helpful, but I'll talk to you all again.